Come on.
Do I sound like I'm joking? Do I sound like I'm playing? When you look into my eyes, you understand what I'm saying? Let me say it to you slowly, and it may sound scandalous. I don't think that you can handle this.
Once again, we are on. I am the Mojo King. He is the great Mike Steph, and we are Hidden Gems Football, brought to you by the mighty 19 Media Group. We are previewing the Super Bowl, sorta. This is primer episode number 1. Next week, we'll get deep into the stats and the odds and the prop bets and everything like that. But today, we're just going to talk a little bit, set us up for it. Mike Steph, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. All things considering. It's funny because normally, well, I won't say normally, but it's funny having these episodes where we have focus, but not really focus, so it's more freewheeling. We haven't had one of these since last year this time. So, it might be a little rough around the edges, but listen, y'all know what to expect when it comes to Hidden Gen Football. So it's nothing unexpected, but expect the unexpected.
Well, when we're freestyling like this, I'm going to let you talk a lot, and I'm going to, just kick back and relax. Let's talk a little bit about the two teams. Let's start with the Kansas City Chiefs. Anything that's on your mind about the Kansas City Chiefs?
I have an interesting take when it comes to Kansas City and their perception over over this past season. Because for the last 5 years running, they have been, to a certain degree, the NFL darling, the NFL sweetheart. They were the fan favorite, the babyface, if you will. But this year, oh so subtly, throughout the season, we've noticed a turn of the fans' ire. We've noticed, dare I say, heel tendencies in Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. So I'm going to ask this question. When did the Chiefs become so unlikable? I would preface that to say that, at least to me, that remark is becoming a little bit widespread, in that I'm comfortable with saying that I'm not on an island by myself. Did it start with the antics of Patrick Mahomes' brother on TikTok in the past couple years? Maybe. Did it start with the romance of Travis Kelce and y'all know who? Perhaps. Did it start with the temper tantrum thrown by Mahomes in that late season loss to the Bills, in which a touchdown, was taken away by a penalty on their own wide receiver, Kadarius Toney? I think we're getting hot. No matter when it started, it was confirmed to me this past Sunday in the AFC Championship game, when during warmups, both Mahomes and Kelce were seen kicking and tossing Justin Tucker's tee and helmet because it was in the way. To tell you the truth, it might have been warranted, but this dislike to me has been warranted, especially after listening to the latest episode of the New Heights podcast, hosted by the Kelce Bros themselves, Travis and the fat one. Travis Kelce called Tucker a Blanken Johnson, and like I said, you use your imagination on what I refer to when I say Johnson, because this is a family-friendly show, for the situation. But more importantly, is this: was that a heel turn for them? I mean, Travis was always the cool one, the brother, the one invited to the cookouts and such. He had to line up, the little coat tee. He's hollering at the hip hop vixens. And now, kind of seems corny, doesn't it? The beard is more rural, it's more out there. His association with a certain individual probably hasn't helped. Mahomes seems whiny and corny as well. But this is what happens when you're a dynastic team. Everyone has you in the crosshairs. What was cute and wholesome is now irritating and loathsome. That was a bar right there. I ain't gonna lie. I think the only one unscathed from this transformation of image has been Andy Reid. It's because of his age. He's getting up there. It's because of his weight. The old Warriors. Who knows? But all I know is that America's darlings have become America's nightmare. Whoa! This season. And there's no one particular place to pinpoint it. This has nothing to do with the numbers and receptions, but more like perspective and perceptions. Yes, another bar. This iteration is probably the least talented offense that Kansas City has had in the 6-year run. And you would think that getting to this point, getting to another Super Bowl with this less talented roster would be heralded and applauded. Yet it hasn't. The numbers and spreads and all that, we'll tap into next week. But this lead up to the big game will be interesting, to say the least. I rest my case.
Kind of heel turn, like you said. Some degree, I think championship level teams will always get that. The hate will come with the love. Now, I am kind of going along with the hate and love thing because there was a certain person that you were mentioning sideways. You never mentioned the person's name. And it was a person that I refused to mention in these episodes, but she kind of kept coming up. So let me rewind a little bit. How you said the hate was spreading for Kansas City, I felt myself doing that too. But I realized it wasn't happening until later in the season, and I couldn't figure out why. And then I would watch the games, and I would watch Mahomes make an amazing play, and I'm like, we're watching greatness. I should be applauding this man. I should be rooting for him. And I would kind of, just get into the games because I didn't really have a team that I was rooting for either way. So I would just kind of Kansas City do something. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And then Kelsey would score. And then I'd find myself irritated with Kansas City again.
Oh.
And I realized that my only problem really was that they kept showing Taylor Swift smiling and hugging her sister and hugging Kelsey's mom and hugging people in that high ticket range because average people aren't getting in there. But you know what? I started thinking about it more, and I'm like, it wasn't really her fault. She wasn't forcing them to film her. It's really the NFL telling them, "Oh, pan up there and show her," right? It's in my mind, I'm like, who cares? She's up there smiling. She's up there cheering for her man. Great. I'm sure there are a lot of other wives up there cheering for their men too. You can show them if you want to just show women cheering for their men. But, it kept snowballing, right? And people kept talking about Taylor. And I kept ignoring it. Then right before we decided to record, I was like, all right, what is everybody talking about with Taylor Swift? Bruh, it's actually really interesting.
Okay.
So, among other things, these are claims. I did not go to follow up any of this information to see if any of this is right. Just things that I read from pretty decent sources. But still, I didn't double check them. They said that back the Chiefs versus the Jets, right? They said there was an increase of 2 million women watching that game as opposed to the Chiefs before that, or the Jets before that. And I don't think it was because of Zach.
Sympatico.
Okay. They said that recent NFL games have been up 10%, the TV viewership. They said Travis Kelce's jersey sales are up 400%. They're saying it's all Taylor Swift, right? It gets bigger, though. It gets bigger because, according to Fox News, Taylor Swift may be a Pentagon asset doing psychological operations for the Bidens. But interestingly enough, on the other side, you have people like Colin Cowherd, who said that the only people that are objecting to Taylor Swift are insecure men. And if you say that you are just watching the game for football, but you're upset about Taylor Swift, you are lying to yourself because, and he said this, he said in a 3-hour game, there's only 18 minutes of football you're watching. Don't do the math. Don't do it. You don't want to do the math.
That's crazy.
Then I read another article that Taylor Swift is single-handedly going to end toxic masculinity in the NFL. This girl's incredible. Look, American Airlines changed their flight from Kansas City to Vegas to flight 1989. Do you know what happened in 1989?
Roddy King?
Probably. But more importantly than all of that,
Okay.
Taylor Swift was born.
Oh, yeah, that was the name of one of her. Wasn't that the name of one of her albums? 1989?
I don't know. I'm not a fan. I know you are, so you could tell me.
Listen.
All right. So she's up for 4 Grammys. She might get Best Album. If she gets Best Album, she's tying for the most Best Albums of the year for Grammys. She will tie the record. I don't even know who she tied with because I didn't bother looking up. But she's going to be a record breaker, record tire, I guess. Did you know she's up for a Grammy for a song with Ice Spice?
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Taylor Swift and Ice Spice. Now, you know what? She should invite Ice Spice to the Super Bowl, and then they should show them hugging. Now that would be interesting. All right. So anyway,
Ice Spice. Who would be in Ice Spice's demographic? Isaiah Pacheco. Matter of fact, due to the subject matter, even though he's on the outskirts looking in, probably Kadarius Toney.
that's the one. That's the one.
Picture that. If Ice Spice was at the show, at the games, which go rooting for Kadarius Toney, where we have all this. Do you know? You know what? I'll give homegirl credit because she has, from where she started, she's marketed the hell out of her own self. She had a sponsorship with Dunkin' Donuts with Munchkins.
Really?
Yes. It was like, I think you put a Munchkin in the iced coffee. It was some type of drink. And I'm like, does Dunkin' Donuts really know why she uses the word munch? It wasn't short for Munchkin. But listen, she getting that bag. Salute. But yeah, Kadarius Toney, Ice Spice.
Next year, it could be Ice Spice. Taylor Swift is the gift that keeps on giving. And I think this Super Bowl, don't worry about the game. Just appreciate Taylor.
Do you think that the NFL would try somehow, some way to try to get her on stage or have like a little run-in on ushers?
Bro, if they could, they would kick Usher out of the stadium. I'm sure they have.
Yeah, I know they're probably kicking themselves in the butt. Like, if we would have known this beforehand, we could have did a double dip.
I can't wait till Usher's performing and they just keep showing Taylor Swift. Shoot. That's going to be amazing.
It'll be funny if Usher somehow makes his way into the suite and does one of those things like he does at his concerts. Watch this. I guess we got to talk about the other team, right? The 49ers is going to be real short and sweet.
Well, first
they
of all,
made it.
I want to know who Purdy's bringing to the game.
I saw he kissed somebody on the field at the end of the NFC Championship game. I don't think she's famous or anything, but I think he does have a girlfriend.
This could be a beginning of her career.
Yeah, but shoot, not for long. Cause shoot, like once he gets that first extension, he's gonna try to upgrade.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. There was something else I wanted to tell you. Okay. So the last part about Taylor Swift, 2 things. One, I personally think that Kelsey's going to win the MVP, and then they're going to ask Kelsey what he's doing after the game, and him and Taylor are going to go to Disney World. That would be the biggest commercial of all time. But also, did you know? Oh, we'll wait till next week. But did you know you can bet on if Kelsey's going to propose to Taylor Swift after the game?
You know what? I want to say that I don't think they will go that far. And yeah, now I remember his brother's name, Jason. That's a fact. This would usually be around the time that we would insert a commercial here.
I am the Mojo King. He is the great Willie Freeman. And together we are Hip Hop Hidden Gems.
Hip Hop Hidden Gems is a podcast where we celebrate the golden age of hip hop and take a deep dive into artists you probably know and love, but focus on songs you might not be as familiar with. We analyze the gems from two unique perspectives. Sometimes we'll focus on a single verse, other times an entire song. Past episodes include Gangstar, Chino XL, Digital Underground, Scarface, and Big Daddy Kane.
So if you're a hip hop head or just love listening to two brilliant minds, check out Hip Hop Hidden Gems. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google, and any platform you choose.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Do we got to talk about the 49ers? Shit, this show is going nice and, it's going cracking jokes. Everything is lively. And everything like, 49ers.
All right. I tell you what, I'll start off with the 49ers. Mr. Purdy, Brock Purdy. Everybody's been talking about, is he good? Is he not good? He just rescued the game from Detroit that last game. So clearly he is great. I'm still not sure. The amazing pass was a horrible pass that bounced off the guy's head, went to Ayuk. It actually didn't matter because there was a flag on the play anyway. So if nobody caught it, it still was going to be pass interference. It wouldn't matter. My thing is that Brock Purdy could be Carson Wentz. Do you remember how good he was that year that Philly made that run? People thought he was unstoppable. And then he was quickly stopped the next season. Or, who knows? Maybe we're looking at the next Joe Montana. He's in the right uniform. But the thing is, I don't think it matters this game anyway. Doesn't Trent Dilfer have a Super Bowl ring?
Brad Johnson also.
Going back in time a little bit. So Dan Marino went to one Super Bowl, right?
Only.
I believe his second year, his first year of starting. Do you remember who the quarterback was the year before that also took them to the Super Bowl?
David Woodley.
David Woodley.
I swear, I see on Sports Jeopardy.
I was about to say, because only you, me, and David Woodley's mom remember David Woodley.
Little known fact, when I was younger, even though I've always been a Jets fan, I used to like the now Washington Commanders. I was a John Riggins fan. Coincidentally, I didn't know at the time he was a Jet back in the day.
Huh, always circles back to the Jets.
Yeah, so that's probably why I'm just around this circle of suck.
All right, so my prediction here is that Brock Purdy has a pretty solid career for the 49ers, and then later in his career, signs with the Jets when his knees are already bad. Okay, Mike Steph, what you have to say about the 49ers?
You are funny. I know we spoke about it's going to be quick. But, okay, to be serious, if I can be serious for a minute, San Francisco, to me, is very fortunate to be in this position because both of the playoff games they should have lost. They should have lost against the Packers because if they wouldn't have missed the field goal, they wouldn't have got there. If they wouldn't have foregoing the field goal earlier, it wouldn't have got there. So they shouldn't even got to the championship game. Fine. Championship game, people talk about Brock Purdy brought them back. No, he did it. Yeah, I know technically he did because he was at the helm and he did have some clutch plays and he used his legs, unlike a person in the opposite conference that I just don't know what the hell they were thinking. But Detroit lost that game. Detroit goes up 27-10. 49ers are already on the ropes. That's the knockout blow. Instead of Dan Campbell trying to go for the knockout blow, the icing on the cake would have been the field goal. That opened the door, and that allowed the momentum just to wash through. San Francisco is lucky to get into this game. Now, you would have thought throughout the whole season that they was on a mission, especially the first 5 games when they was 5-0, they're barnstorming everybody. You thought they was on a mission. Yo, we're gonna prove all the naysayers wrong. Yeah, which squad is gonna be? We're gonna be on a collision course with us in Philadelphia. Philadelphia got bumped in the wild card game. San Francisco's had like 2 iterations of themselves. You had the first 5 games, and then you had the 3-game lull, and then they got back healthy, and they barnstormed everybody until I got smacked in the face by Baltimore on that Monday night. And to me, it seems like since that Monday night, they have not been the same since that night. Because it seems like whatever scheme, whatever pattern that Kyle Shanahan had been successful up until that point, it seemed like more and more teams was able to devise a plan to slow them down. And then God forbid if they get an injury, because Christian McCaffrey, people haven't talked about, I don't know, we'll get into the injury reports next week. I don't know if he's going to be on the injury report, but that last touchdown that Eli Mitchell ended up cashing in, the run preceding that was CMC for about 20 yards, and he actually landed on top of his head and compressed his neck. That's why Mitchell was in there. So if he's less than optimal, and then you already got George Kittle, which got being hobbled a little bit, it's been a proven fact that Brock Purdy is not the type to jump on my back, let's go, when there's something missing. If everybody's in place, yeah, he's a great manager of the game. I'm not even going to say game manager, even though I just said it. He's going to dump it off here, dump it off there. Yeah, he's going to let Debo eat the whole 9. But we're not getting into predictions. I was almost going which score. I was only going to blow my load just now on the prediction, but that's next week. But the lead up to this game, that's why I said when I was talking about Kansas City, the lead up to this game is going to be interesting because I want to know exactly what the mindset is going to be, what the narrative is going to be in actual game week. Because this has actually been a quiet off week. Super Bowl standards, it's been quiet as a mouse. Nobody's really been talking about the 49ers and the Chiefs. San Francisco, when it comes to any type of oomph leading into this game, they're dry. They're dry. I mean, we was able to riff and have jokes of Kansas City and all their off the field shenanigans or what have you, or just their off the field situations. San Francisco, okay, I mean, yeah, they win. You know, Cal Shanahan, yeah, it's possible that he's a choke artist in disguise. Maybe we'll get into that next week. You know, but I mean, we got Debo, we got George Kittle masqueraded as a luchador. We have Brock Purdy, and then we have Christian McCaffrey, who's, you know, I'm not going to take away the MVP from Lamar Jackson, but if there's a 2-year MVP award, I would have to give it to CMC because this team took that big jump once he's been on. So, yeah, that's my way of making chicken salad out of chicken. You know what? When it comes to the San Francisco 49ers, yeah. So, darn, I actually did better than I thought.
Well, as we both said before, next week we'll dive deeper into the numbers, figure out some predictions, get some props, some sure things. Like, you know, Brock Purdy being under 30 attempts, sure things like that.
Yeah, you know, because ever since you said that stat, you know they're 2-0, right?
Yes. Still losing
luckily,
record.
Yeah, luckily I didn't fall for the bait last week. I fell for other baits.
Oh, see, last week you didn't listen to me, and that's what happens. That's what happens when you don't listen to me.
Sure, listen to you. If I would have put that on my parlay, I would have lost anyway. It was that garbage touchdown.
No.
That garbage touchdown.
No. Listen. Last week I told you Detroit +7.
Well, okay. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna pull the curtain back just a little bit. I gave my picks here on Hidden Gems football, right? And tell you the truth, if I would have just stayed with my picks on Hidden Gems football, I might have cashed in. But guess what? I tried to double dip. So I put 1 for the picks that I had, and plus a prop bet that didn't hit. And then I put 1 for the picks that I decided, yeah, I got to try to be conservative and try to get this bread. Now, if I would have combined the two somehow, some way, then maybe you wouldn't be speaking to me right now because I would be, well, I tell you the truth, it would have been a couple $100. I couldn't have quit my job. But still, I'll be a couple $100 richer, and maybe I have a new and improved Stitch. Sorry about that, but if I get an upgrade, you gone. Shoot, he's been mad at me because I kind of threw him at the camera last week.
Don't worry, Stitch. He says the same thing about me. Getting a new improved, I'm out of here. Mike Steph just like that.
Who says that he's not the replacement for?
All right. That's it. Mike Steph and Stitch, take us out of here.
This has actually been a real funny edition. This is probably one of my favorite episodes of the season. I like when we're able to let our hair down. Yeah, him right here. Yeah, him. It just brings a certain je ne sais quoi to the episode. But with all that being said, we'll check you next week. This has been another edition of Hidden Gems Football. Yeah, I had to bring that back because I saw it last year. I was like, you know what? That's what's been missing. Hidden Gems Football has been a part of Goodbye.
Happy birthday,
Bye.
Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler. Happy birthday.
This is a 19 Media Group presentation.
I think one of us needs to change our camera angles a little bit because you tend to look 10 feet taller than me. I am not a midget.
Well, that's because you're sitting pretty much. No, it's the fact that you're head level and I'm on a couch. Look, it's not, and this is no disrespect to our friends, but it's not like, another 19 Media Group presentation where you have I am Tyler McDowell Blanken, and that is my friend and partner, Brad Winchester, and we are And then you see Brad back here, almost looking like he just listen. We can't change camera angles the second to last episode of the season.
That's true.
We'll work on it next season. Maybe next season I'll have a different setup. Hopefully, even though I've actually, it's actually gotten better over the season. Because remember that picture used to be hanging on my couch. I didn't even have nothing over here. Now I got Stitch. Now I got a picture on a frame. Now I got the aforementioned McDowell in the background. Yeah, that's actually him. Never realized that, did you?
No, I did not. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
GI representing everywhere.
Yeah. That's the brother. So, that's a hidden gem.
Why is that so big?
Yeah, just say.